You probably know that the Apostle Paul wrote Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, and Philemon from a prison cell. And one of the most famous books ever written was also penned when its author was behind bars. John Bunyan, author of The Pilgrim's Progress. Like the Apostle Paul, Bunyan had been arrested for preaching the gospel. As a Baptist pastor, he had defied the orders of King Charles II that authorized only Anglican ministers as preachers in England in the late 1700s. And Bunyan would spend 12 years in a prison in Bedford, 75 kilometers north of London. And it was there that he wrote many books, including The Pilgrim's Progress. This book has been translated into more than 200 languages. It has never been out of print since it was first published in 1678, the longest run of any book ever to never be out of print. And even in 1978, Liam Neeson had his film debut in an adaptation of Pilgrim's Progress. He played the role of the evangelist. And you probably know the story. The hero, Christian, he leaves the city of destruction and he must make his way to the heavenly city, to Zion. And the full title of the book is quite long, as was in vogue back in those days. It was called The Pilgrim's Progress, from this world to that which is to come, delivered under the similitude of a dream, and on and on. Bunyan's original confinement of 3 months was extended to 12 years. There were times where he was offered to be liberated, and he would simply say, "If you release me today, I will preach tomorrow, so no sense liberating me." Bunyan refused to give up the call of God to preach the word, as he not only brought the word of God to people, but fought for religious liberty. And the suffering that he spent in prison was often the psychological suffering of knowing the hardships that his stint in prison was causing to his own family, his wife and his 4 children. He wrote this from prison: "The parting with my wife and poor children has oft been to me in this place as the pulling of the flesh from my bones." Well, it was on this day, in 31st of August in 1688, that John Bunyan would pass away in the city of London after fighting a violent fever for about 10 days. And moral of the story today: whatever our circumstances, favorable or adverse, we can make the most of them. And our life can have an impact beyond the walls of our circumstances and even beyond the grave.